Hi crafters, it's Fiona Whitehead here again from craftystamping.blogspot.com. Thank you for coming back to my video again. This is our number 2 in our Best Birds week of cards and stamps using the Best Birds stamp set and framelits. I've done one yesterday, hopefully you caught that one. And today we're doing this one, which I think is a great one for a baby card because it's got the little baby in the bottom. So let's get going with this one. I've used Pear Pizzazz as my cardstock, and then a piece of white, Whisper White, 5 3/4 by 4 3/4, and in centimetres that is 15 centimetres by 10. So let's get that's over here. First of all, I'm going to use the crackle. You know how I love this crackle, and I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz and just use the crackle around the edge. I think it's supposed to look like a nest, don't you think that's what it's supposed to be? So I'm only just using the very tip of the stamp here. I'm just going to stamp on and then stamp off, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit paler. Because it's just to give it a bit of an edge and a bit more interesting with the little birdies. There you go, quite simple. Back to the side. I'm using some of our burlap ribbon as well here. So, and the only other thing I'm using is one of the banners framelits just for this. But you don't have to use it. You can just use purely the stamp set if you wish. Now the framelits I'm using this time are these ones. That one, and that one. So I'm not going to do any stamping here with these. I've just used them and I've cut them out of Whisper White, like so. There's one, and here's the baby coming. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the aqua painter to paint them. So I'm going to paint them first because they need a little bit of time to dry. So I've done this one. She's the female, so I've punched her out. That was this one, look. Punched her out and just done her in early espresso. Look how pale that is. Can you see that? So look, she's already starting to curl. And now this one is the daddy bird. Missed a little bit there. Let's just poke that out. So he's going to have slightly more colours because daddy birds do, don't they? And I've got an old, this is my old Stampin' Up aqua painter from a long time ago. I think they're a different colour now. So just a little bit of water on it. I've not used the watercolour paper on these because we're not going to be doing too much, and they will be fine once we glue them down. And just, I want to keep it pale, so I don't want a lot of colour. So I'm just a little bit, and I'm just doing a little bit on his belly, a little bit of the green on his belly. Just like a very, very pale colour wash, look. There you go. Just to give him a bit of colour. And the early espresso to finish him off. Do a little bit of the green up on the tail as well. We might just catch a little bit of that. And the brown, I don't want it very dark at all, so just a very, very light touch of the brown. There you go. Just take a bit off the excess. Oh, I think we need a little bit more brown than that, don't you? We want to just have a little bit of brown. There we go. This is another way of using our inks in case you hadn't had a play with watercolouring them. It will dry slightly lighter as well. But this is where our ink pads are so good because you can use them as little ink palettes. So there we go. And the little baby, I'm just going to do him in all in brown. There goes my clock. It wouldn't be crafty stamping without the old clock bonging away, would it? It seems to be always when I've got lots of bongs going on that I seem to do these. Should do it in the afternoon when there's only 1 or 2 bongs as opposed to 11 or 12 bongs. There we go. So that's our little birds inked up. We're just going to let those dry for a little bit. I should put them over to the side. And in the meantime, I'm going to stamp out the branch. I've got a little bit of soft suede here. And just stamp that on there like that. Just use any old scrap of brown you've got. It doesn't have to be this colour. A just use whatever you've got in your little bits box. I'm sure we all have our little bits boxes, don't we? I'm just going to pop that now onto the Big Shot, and we can cut that out. There we go. Simple, just like that. Comes out nice and easy. Put that over there out of the way. Oh, don't put my paper with you. There we go. Don't mind the bang crash, that was just my box falling off. Okay, so here's our crackly bit. Now we need a little bit of the burlap ribbon. Great ribbon this, and it's so tactile, isn't it? It's lovely. And do you know the little Jar of Love stamp? That there's one that looks like it's for the label for the jar, and it just looks like this burlap stuff. It's really clever. So I'm going to cut a little piece of that off. All the snips. Cut off as much. You can have it the length of the branch. That's quite a good way. And this is going to represent the little nest. So I'm just going to glue that down just with a little bit of snail. You can use Tombow, or you can use double-sided tape if you wish. Whichever you prefer, your glue of choice. And I'm going to pop this one up on dimensionals because I just want it to be a little bit raised, so that the bird's going to go underneath. I'm going to cut these dimensionals in half because I don't want it quite that size. So I'll put one there and one down there. I think that's still a little bit big. Let me just trim that a little bit more so you can get lots of little bits out of your dimensionals. Pop that one on there, and we'll put another one just in the middle. There you go. Let's just take off the backing. I don't want it all coming off, thank you very much. Stay stuck. There you go. Next bit. So I've got my pokey tool and I'm using my fingers, so daft. There we go. Let's pop that on there. Now I'm just going to do the wording, and I'm going to use congratulations because I think it looks like a welcome home, a welcome trip baby card. That's the congratulations. I'm going to do that in Pear Pizzazz. Let's just line it up. Make sure I get it on my block straight. There we go. Another piece of cardstock here, and the Pear Pizzazz. And I'm using the bunch of banners framelits for this, just to pop this out. But as I say, if you don't have this, you don't have to. You could do it on a framelit, normal framelit if you have one, or you could just stamp it. But I've got them, so I'm going to go and have a little play with them. Let's just pop that onto there like that. I love this colour, don't you? Pear Pizzazz. I'm not normally quite a pales, subtles kind of coloured girl. I do quite like the big bold colours, but some of these subtles I do find really pretty. Right, let's pop this back in here. My poor dog just ran out of the way then when the box nearly fell on him. He doesn't like loud bangs, which is unusual because he's a gun dog, but nobody told him he was a gun dog. And he was a rescue when we got him. Bracken, don't mind the crackle, it's supposed to do that. So if you just bought your Big Shot and it crackles and you think, oh my gosh, I've broken it. You haven't. It's a very satisfying crack when it does that sometimes. It doesn't always do it. There we go. So yes, my poor Bracken, he was a rescue dog when we got him and scared of everything. But we've had him 5 years now and he's calmed down an awful lot. He knows we're not going to hurt him, bless him. Right, look, sponging. If you've seen my videos before, you know I love sponging. And these are our big, fat, wonderful sponges. You get 3 in a packet. And then you can cut them up into quarters like I've done. And then you get lots more. So they come in 3 in a packet, just like this. I haven't even used those yet. They're going to last me forever. Wonderful. On this original one, I had put a bit of linen thread just across there. I'm not going to do that on this one today. I'm just going to use it as it is. I'm going to just curl the edges of this as well, just to make it look a bit more less static. And then we can make it stand up a little bit when we get it onto the card. So let's just arrange our card with our birds. We've got the daddy bird and the mummy bird and the baby bird. And you see how pale they have gone. They have gone quite pale. Now I would use our very fine glue here to stick these on, but I have a confession to make with a fine glue, because when I was using it I didn't put the nozzle straight back in. I think I was using it for a video tutorial and didn't have time to, because it's quite fiddly and you've really got to try and put the nozzle in, and when your eyes go it's not so easy. And when I went to do it later, I realised that it was all dried up. And then as I tried to get the thin little nozzle into it, I bent the nozzle. So it was a, hubby, can you help? And normally he can fix everything, but he hasn't managed to fix it yet. So I'm just going to use this little glue pen for now. But that's what I would use. Or you could use Tombow, but I just find this is a bit too fiddly for Tombow. You get really quite sticky with it, don't you? So the little glue pens, but as I say, the best thing would be the one that I've ruined. You could use snail as well on this, but after my phone is playing up with me today, so it's cut me off in the middle of where I was, so I'm going to have to just edit this and hope it all fits in. I was just sticking my bird on with the glue. The other thing I've just been doing is I'm just going over their beaks with a little bit of our watercolour pencil, just to make them a little bit darker. There you go. So that's the daddy bird. So we're going to stick him on there with some more of the little sticky glue. If you've got the little tiny dimensionals, you can stick his little tail up as well with a little tiny dimensional. Pretty, these birds. So let's have him like that, so he's sort of looking at them. There we go. You can see how all this has dried now. I've just gone over this as well with a little bit of the ink with our blender pen, just to give it a little bit more feathering. So all we're going to do now is, that was one we did earlier, is pop a dimensional on the back of our sentiment. I'm going to use one of these half ones down here. Don't ever waste any of your dimensionals. Look, you know, there are always the little half ones you can use at the bottom. And some people did think, oh, I didn't know that, and I've thrown it away. Waste not, want not. We don't waste anything, do we? There you go. Just pop that on there like that. You could do a little bit of wink of Stella or some glitter on the birds, or, you know, the sky's the limit, really. Right, we're just going to stick that adhere that now onto our card base. There we go, and the pear pizzazz. Right, there we are. There, that's an unusual, delicate card for a baby, don't you think? So I hope you've had fun with this one, and see you again tomorrow for our next Best Birds. Thank you, bye.